Okay, so first of all, welcome. It's great to see everyone here. I'm Arnauld Nakaha. I'm the Executive Director of Regional Sales. I have been with Beachbody now for 5 years, and we offer this call for all of our leaders that are 2-star diamonds and above in the Central region and also Canada regions. And we want to connect with you guys. We want to see your faces, and we want to just see kind of where you are, and we want to just give value to you. So on this call, 3 things that I'm going to talk about. I want to go over kind of our vision, some of the things that we're envisioning for Beachbody, and by proxy, envisioning for you and your teams. Number 2, we want to go over some blocking and tackling. What are some best practices that we've seen? Sydney Maurer, by the way, our associate manager, is on here too. She works with all of our diamonds, 1s and 2-star diamonds. That's just an incredible job. So we get to see and talk to a lot of people. And so we want to share the things that we see that are working well. These might be things that are complementary to what you're doing already, or these might be things that you can take and run with yourself. Okay. And then the last thing, we want to challenge you. We've got 2 more weeks in the month. I think some phenomenal things can happen, but it's going to be up to you to make that happen. Okay. First of all, I'm going to start with a story. Okay. Before I tell the story, I want to raise your hand if you've been a coach for 6 months or less. 6 months or less. Okay. Elaine. Okay. You're 6 months or less. What about 6 months or more? 1 year or more? Just raise your hand. Okay. So we're talking to coaches that have been around the block. Okay, very good. So I'll calibrate my message based on that. But I do want to talk about share a story because I do think that we're always reinventing ourselves, right? Especially with social media, we're finding out you have to reinvent yourself all the time. There's always so many things, especially with Facebook algorithms. You always have to learn something new. And so the last time I had to learn something new, well, I'm always learning something new. I'm pretty sure that Sydney taught me something new just this past week. But the last time I had to really learn a lot was back in the summer of 2002. I had a little bit more hair, young buck, still in college. I was at our student union building at my university. And I was walking around and I heard that there was going to be some presentation given, at noon on a Friday, and it was towards the end of the spring semester. And I remember at the time I was looking for a job to do in the summertime. And what I had done the previous couple summers is I had worked pretty much every waking hour of the day, as many as possible, 17 to 18 hours a day, to basically make ends meet. To be able to pay for my tuition. And I remembered there was this presentation. First of all, the presentation promised free lunch. And so if you're a college student and you've struggled, guess what you do, right? You show up for the free lunch. So I went and had the pizza and the Coke and hung out and now waited to see what they were trying to sell us on, or trying to, get us to buy or believe in or whatever. And it turns out to be, it was all these young guys that were talking about their experience doing door-to-door sales. And believe it or not, there's a lot of money for apparently college students to make doing door-to-door sales. And I remember thinking, these guys don't have anything that I don't have. These guys, they're my age. They seem young, energetic. They seem, like they're willing to work hard. I'm willing to work hard. I'm willing to roll up my sleeves. And if I even do half of the lowest amount that they're saying you can make, I'll be in good shape. And they were basically saying anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 in 3.5 months. Okay. So the skeptical guy I am, I said, okay, take half of the low amount, take half of the 10,000. Okay. And then subtract 2,000. That's the only income that I need to be okay in the fall, to have enough money to pay for my tuition and survive and buy all the stuff that just a simple college student needs. And I went and I signed up for it. And we actually, the first 2 weeks, we traveled to North Carolina, and it was miserable. And we failed miserably. It was terrible. In 2 weeks, there was like maybe 1 or 2 sales out of a group of 10 of us, okay? Then we drove across the country to Tucson, Arizona. By the way, anybody relate? You're so excited to just crush it, and you're thinking these challenge groups, they're going to be so good. I mean, I did the Eric's, Shonti versus Tony deal, and I'm just going to crush it. I've learned from Eric, one of the best in the business. Michaela teaches me exactly what I need to do. I can go and do it. And you go out there and you post the best post that you think possible, and you just kind of think about it, and you edit it and you post it, and it's like crickets, huh? Like, wow, like your grandma likes it and your brother likes it and your coach comments on it, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a long journey. And that's kind of how it was, those 2 weeks. I'm going, oh man, like, okay, there goes 2 weeks. Now I've only got 3 months to make this happen. Let me stop there. It's actually the best thing that happened to me. That failed post or whatever, it was probably the best thing that could have happened to you. And if that gave you a bit more pressure to succeed and you stuck around, obviously you stuck around. You guys, most of you are here for a year plus, right? If you stuck around and you still have that pressure to succeed, then you're in a good place. The problem is most of us are comfortable. Most of us are in this place of comfort. We have a full-time job or a part-time job. Our back is not against the wall. We're okay. We can go back to our job. We're okay if we're not yet a diamond. We're okay if we're not yet an elite coach or a star diamond, right? And that's the things that we tell ourselves. That's a myth. That's a lie. That is a lie, because there's so much more to life than just the status quo. Write this down. Comfort is the enemy of success. Comfort is the enemy of success, okay? If you're comfortable and if you're coasting, the only way to coast is downhill, right? The only way that you're coasting is downhill. You're either going up or you're going downhill. So I want to challenge you. If you're on this call, okay, if you're on this call, you want it. If you're on this call, you truly want more for your family, for your business, for your life. Okay, so I went in, North Carolina, failed miserably, went to Tucson, Arizona. Okay, 100-degree weather for 2 miserable months. Okay, just rough. Okay, and I'm sure that some days feel like Tucson, Arizona in the summer for you guys. You're posting and crickets, or you're one challenger that said, yeah, I'm ready to be a coach, doesn't want to be a coach, and you're one person that said, I'm going to crush this business, goes into the witness protection program. You're like, where did she disappear to? Like, oh, I need you. You need this in your life, right? So I want to talk about this book that I'm reading, that I'm starting to read, called The One Thing. By the way, if you're looking for some personal development, look for that. It's called The One Thing by Gary Keller. He's the founder of Keller Williams Realty. Most of you, I think that name sounds familiar. They just, nationwide, super successful real estate company, real estate brokerage company. And he talks about the concept of one thing. And he starts off by talking about these myths. And I want to share that with you. I'll just give you a glimpse into the book, and hopefully you go out there and pick it up yourself. But there's 6 lies that we tell ourselves. Okay? Write these down, or if you're watching the recording, great. You can just kind of write it as you listen. The first myth is everything matters equally. Everything matters equally. The fact of the matter is not everything matters equally. Some things are important, some things are urgent. Number 2, and a lot of you do that, and I can tell some of you, Brittany and Lacey and Heather, that are not on camera, Raquel, you're probably multitasking right now. You're in your living room, or you're doing your workout, or, you're driving. You're multitasking, right? And he actually says that multitasking he says it's a myth that multitasking is a good thing. He says it's actually not a good thing, okay? As I'm saying this, Crystal, make sure you drive safe. Okay, I see you there. It's important that you stay safe. That's one of the reasons why it is not a good thing, right? That's number 2. Number 3, and this one I really like, okay? And he says this is a lie. He says a lie is you must be a disciplined person to succeed. It's actually a lie. You must be a disciplined person to succeed. It's a lie. And I love that. I love that because I am not if I were to, write down my skills and strengths, I wouldn't say discipline is at the top. I think it's one of those, but it's not at the top. And it gives me great hope that I can achieve my goals. I can do what I need to do, right? So discipline, you must not be a disciplined person necessarily to succeed. Number 4, keep it moving. Your willpower is always on will call. Your willpower is always on will call. That's a lie. Okay, we know that, especially for those of us that are going through, our fitness, journey. Our willpower is not on will call. Number 5, you can achieve a perfectly balanced life. That's a myth. That's something that you pursue. Is something that probably never happens. That some of it happens sometimes, maybe, right? If you look at your life and you kind of divide it up into these buckets. Your business bucket, your work bucket, your family bucket, your friends bucket, your spiritual bucket, whatever bucket that you've got, and you've got only so much water, right? So, this is your water. You only have so much water per day, and you got all these buckets. You're going to pour your water differently based on the buckets, but also based on the priorities that you have. This is where priorities come into play. When people say that I don't have time, really it means that it is not my priority. It is not my priority. You have time. You just have decided to not make it a priority. So you can tell that it's a priority, but until you apply it as if it is a priority, nothing is going to happen. Something has got to give, right? The last thing is big is bad and is to be feared. Okay? So as I thought about these 6 myths, I thought about the past 5 years, the fact that, we have grown by 10x. When I started, we had about 45,000 coaches. When, right now we're 450, 60,000 plus coaches, right? And I remember talking to coaches when I first started. About the second month, May of 2011, I started reaching out to coaches and saying, hey, what are your goals? What do you want to do, right? So, Elaine, I would sit down with you and I would say, okay, what do you want to do? What do you see yourself? How does this fit into your life? What do you see for your family, right? Then we would go, Steve, okay, so you give me your goals. What gives? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to sacrifice? And what is your priority? What is your priority and what are you willing to give up? Then after that, we would say, okay, let's write down a plan and let's manage that plan. And I remember telling coaches that we're going places. And I'm telling you, we're going places. One of the key measurements that we judge against ourselves against is the number of lives that we change, the number of customers that are through our challenge groups. And in order for that to happen, we need coaches to help facilitate all these challenge groups and truly help people. And as I take a step back, I remember Carl mentioning, listen, we are going to be satisfied. We're going to, if there's a imaginary box to check for just North America, we're talking United States and Canada, we're going to check that box and say, you know what, we've done something significant once we get to 10 million coaches. 10 million coaches, right? It's interesting because back in 2011, I had those talks with quite a few coaches. And I would sit and say, listen, one day we're going to be at 100,000 coaches. Then one day we're going to actually be at 500,000 coaches. And their eyes would get this big. And they're going, okay, sounds good, great. And I asked them a question. I'm going to ask you a question. We're going where we're going. How many of those customers, how many of those transformations, how many of those coaches do you want in your business? That's a question that you have to ask yourself. How many of those do you want in your business? Because based on the goal that you have, you will calibrate your activity based on the vision that you have for yourself, and people will follow the vision. They don't follow just what you tell them, they follow the vision that you have. And I remember meeting with this very shy gal, just really quiet, like so quiet, and I'm going, oh, and I'm probably asking the wrong person. I don't know what the answer is going to be, but she was very quiet, very shy, just thinking, okay, well, we'll see what she does. And she said, and at that time she was a 3-star diamond, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to make it happen, right? And I was like, well, proof is in the pudding. Let's see what happens. That same shy girl that I really, quite frankly, was not sure what she was going to do is now double 15-star diamond Melissa McAllister, right? And if you meet Melissa, she's still the same personality, right? And then I remember meeting this guy, And he was like all over the place, like former actor or current actor, and just really energetic. And I remember thinking that myth number 3 back in the day was a myth that I told myself. I remember thinking, he doesn't strike me as the most disciplined guy. So I don't know that he's going to follow through on this. I think it's easy to just make that decision. I don't know that he'll follow through on this. Shame on me. That same guy, superstar diamond Jimmy Hayes Nelson. And at the time, I think he was a 2-star diamond, right? Barely hanging on, hanging on there with a brand new, kid. And then the last one that I met, I remember it was the first summit that I attended was in LA, was actually in the summer of 2011. She was super energetic, but at the time she was a diamond coach. She, very publicly was talking about, problems that she had in her marriage, and things were not working out. And, her background was not exactly a background that you'd say, yeah, you're going to do some phenomenal things in this business, and you fast forward to now, that same diamond coach that looked me in the eye crying in the hotel lobby, I remember at the Omni in Dallas, in the summer of 2011, the superstar diamond Danielle Natoni, known as Fit and Funky, right? Crazy stuff. I mean, when I look at those stories, it tells me that if you have the vision, if you're going to go after it, and if you have the discipline coupled with the vision, there's no question you can make some incredible things happen. The question is, are you willing to make it happen? Okay, so I'm going to switch gears now. I'm going to talk about the blocking and tackling. I'm going to talk about a best practice that has worked very, very well with some teams. I'm going to share my screen and share these best practices. Just take it for those of you that already have a routine in place, then keep doing that. Okay, because I know that, but just knowing Eric and Michaela, they've shared that with you. If this will be something that you want to maybe incorporate in that, then great things. And this really works well for those of you that are busy. Okay, so without any further ado, let me share my screen. Just a thumbs up if you can see this. Eric, can you see this? Okay, perfect. So this is called the Daily Force. And the Daily Force is a program that was created by Aaron Young and Erica Bussard. And this is for just really busy professionals, parents, dads, moms, very busy people that don't have all the time in the world but really want to crush this business. I understand. You don't have all the time in the world, but it's not the time that you have. It's what you do with the time that you have that will absolutely make a difference, that will give you those exponential results. And so this diagram here, let's concentrate on just kind of this top section here, okay? You've got invite, add, connect, and mentor. And the point of this diagram is to just help you focus on the one thing. Focus on the one quadrant that you know will produce results. Some of you probably use the power of 3. Some of you might be using this Daily 4. But the point of the Daily 4, as you look at these 4 quadrants, is these are your 4 essential activities within invite, invite, invite. When you think about inviting, this is a breakdown of inviting, okay? So as you're inviting, obviously you have to invite. You then have to, to add people. Then you have to connect. And then you have to mentor / follow up, okay? That 4th one of mentor, you can call it follow up or mentor, essentially. And the whole purpose of this is for you to plan your week ahead. So at the very left, you see week of, okay? This is an accountability tracking sheet where every single Sunday, so this Sunday for next week, have your plan in place. Don't wait for Monday to start planning, because you've got to have, you've got to plan your work, then you can work your plan. If you don't have a plan, then you're working whatever plan you hear on the National Wake Up Call, whatever plan you hear on this call, whatever plan you hear from your success partner. You've got to have one solid plan that you have. The point of this and the way it works is under each quadrant, you've got to set yourself, you got to give yourself goals, okay? And I'm going to keep it simple. You're either going to add 4 coaches every single box, okay? And this is for the week. This is daily, working 4 times a week, okay? 4 times a week, 4 invites, 4 ads, 4 connects, or 4 mentors. Or if you want a fast track, which knowing you guys, most of you are on that fast track system, you want to build a solid, strong, fast business, then you go for 10 as your stretch goal. 10, 10, 10 across the board, basically. Okay, so just keep it simple. And that's essentially what you do. And you will find that if you focus intensely, I said intensely on your business, not in your spare time. I always say, even in your part-time, you can work full-time during your spare time, okay? If you can work intensely on your business, you're going to create messages, you're going to create momentum, And you're going to create some energy and plenty of people to speak with. If Success Club 5 is your goal, if signing new coaches is your goal, if it's helping your new coaches attain the level of Emerald or Diamond is your goal, there's no question that it's going to happen, okay? Pretty simple system. This is very blocking and tackling, but you have got to have the discipline to do that. Matter of fact, some of the busiest people that I know are teachers. Some of you know teachers, or you're a teacher yourself. And Morgan Rigger from Saskatchewan in Canada actually utilized a system very similar to this. And she said from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. every single day, okay, every single day, she did it for 5 days, every single day, I'm going to utilize this system. And I'm going to do it every single day. I'm going to work on my personal development. Every single day, I am going to work on my power hour. Every single day, I'm going to do my workout. Those three things were her one thing that she would do. Fast forward a year later, she did it intensely, with intention, but also intensely. After a year, she was a 5-star diamond. She had the opportunity to go full time. Fast forward to now, she's a 9-star diamond. So the system works, okay? It's easy to make a decision. Hopefully what this does, it helps you manage your decision, okay? Let me end with this, because it's important that we take from this call, okay? That we take from this call and we apply what we learned on this call, okay? If you learned something, at least is to go back to your success partner or coach and do this. 3 things I'm going to ask you to do. Number 1, I'm going to ask you to share with your coach or your success partner. Okay, I'm going to mute all again. If you're coming in, if you don't mind muting yourselves, I know that we've got another call coming up here in 4 minutes. Let me mute everyone. Okay, perfect. So 3 things. Number 1, what is your one thing? What is your one thing that you do the very best? Okay? What is the one thing that you do the very best, or the thing that you know will give you the most results? Is it your Facebook post? Is it your sneak peeks? Is it your fit club? Like, what is it? It's figure out what that one thing is, and you might know it already. Number 1. Number 2, we got 15 more days, exactly halfway through the month, to finish this month strong. I want you to share, okay, your goal, and hopefully this will be a stretch goal, a goal that stretches you a little bit more than usual. Okay, a goal that stretches you a little bit more than usual, that's going to push you to finish the month strong. Is it finally getting to diamond? Is it finally helping those 4 people join your challenge group? Is it maybe getting to emerald? What is it? Okay, what is it? Is that developing an emerald? What is it? And by the way, this is a business call, so we're going to keep it as a business goal that you have got to share with your success partner or your upline coach, okay? And here's the last thing. The last thing is more important. This is what they need to hold you accountable to. Again, I want you guys to stretch a little bit. I want you guys to go into Summit with momentum and energy, because the stuff that we're going to share at Summit, it's going to blow your mind, but you've got to go in with energy to take advantage of that, okay? And here's the last thing. The last piece of the puzzle is this. Share the activities that you're going to do to reach that one goal, that one stretch goal that you have. What are the activities that you want your coach to absolutely hold you accountable to in order to reach that one goal? There's no question, if you do those things, if you find out one thing that you're the very best at, if you find that one goal that stretches you, and then you do the activity that's going to help you there, there's no question you'll in the next 5 years, in the next year maybe, in the next 6 months, you'll be Jimmy Hayes Nelson. You'll be Danielle Natoni. You'll be Melissa McAllister. You'll be Eric Toster. You'll be Michaela Robinson. But you have to be willing to manage that decision, and you have to be willing to be accountable to yourself first, and then to be 100% accountable to your coach that brought you into this business. So to Michaela's teams and Eric's team, it's great to have you on here. I'm going to send you this recording. If you have any questions, I ask you to please reach out to us. On this call, you guys have seen OVC Sydney Maurer. She's our associate manager in the Central Region. And we've also got Joe Carden, who is our regional manager, on this call as well. We're here at your service. We look forward to celebrating you at Summit and just doing some great, great things. And one day, okay, Alexandra, I will see you walk across the stage. Maybe I'll be giving you a high five, Michelle, right? Maybe Brandy, oh wait, Brandy has already done that. Miss Elite Coach has already done that. So for Eric's team and Michaela's team, thank you for being on. If any of you are here for the next call, stay on. We're about to get started. So thank you, everyone. Sure appreciate you. If we're not connecting on Facebook, let's make sure we connect, and let's make it a great second half of the month. Bye, everyone.